And the master.
If I'm being honest, the theme song of this show tells you everything you need to know. We're gonna spread out the details a little bit to explain who and what and where all this stuff is. This is Adam, Prince of Eternia and Defender of Castle Grayskull. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What's an Eternia? Who is a Castle Grayskull? Why does any of this matter? It doesn't. But listen up, kids, because it's time for He-Man 101. How He-Man came to be and the many outcomes of its being. Well, that's something that we're gonna talk about in a later video. We're not gonna deep dive into the lore of He-Man or the history for a while. Again, that'll be for another video. Today, we're just looking at the basic concept of the cartoon. And just this one cartoon, not the other ones. Or the comic books. Or the mini. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe takes place on a mythical, magical, technologically advanced and medieval planet called Eternia. And there is an ancient, defunct castle full of the universe's most powerful magical secrets, and it's Castle Grayskull, okay? Castle Grayskull is inhabited by a single person called the Sorceress, who is really pretty powerful, but only in the castle, because when she leaves the castle, she turns into a mostly helpless telepathic falcon named Zoar. These are just the facts, folks. Try and keep up. I say the castle is defunct because it's basically abandoned, and the king of the local land actually lives in a semi-futuristic palace in the planet's capital, the city of Eternos. And the king's son is the prince. Duh. And Prince Adam is secretly He-Man. He has a sword, and when he holds it aloft and says,
"By the power of Grayskull,"
he turns into He-Man, who on top of being incredibly good-natured, he's just strong. He doesn't have any magic powers, but he's kind of like a million Olympic gold medalists wrapped up into one muscly man. Because he can run faster, punch harder, and blow blowier than any... Yeah. Just think of him as Superman without the flying, weird eye lasers, and he's not allergic to rocks. But it is a secret identity, so as Prince Adam, he is a total doofus in purple leggings whose best friend is a Scooby-Doo-esque talking tiger who's scared of everything. That's Cringer. And the only people who know he's really He-Man, well, there's Cringer the Tiger, who actually transforms into a warmonger named Battle Cat, the aforementioned Sorceress of Grayskull, of course, and Orko, and... Duncan? Orko is basically a magic elf from another dimension who is immature, incompetent, and, again, good-natured. He's a resident of the palace basically just because he's friends with the royal family, and he works there as a court jester. You never see his face because, well, basically because Orko is the most interesting character on the show and has tons of backstory that we can talk about right now. No, that's not gonna do it. Did I say He-Man is friends with a guy named Duncan? Yes, that's right. There was a children's show protagonist named Duncan. He had a bushy mustache, and he was cool as beans, guys. His title is officially Man-at-Arms, and he shoots lasers from his wrist guns, and he's an inventor, an advisor to the king, he's He-Man's best friend, and he's also the father of Teela. Teela is the captain of the Royal Guard. She commands the armies of Eternos, protects the royal family, trains Prince Adam for combat, and she fights with magical beings who are way outside her pay grade to deal with. Fights with magical beings? Why, yes, actually there are bad guys. The planet of Eternia is fraught with evil and mysterious powers that endanger its citizens and the entire known universe and beyond. But the main threat to Eternia and to the safety of Grayskull is, well, it's actually Orko, because he's always fucking things up and he brings ruin to his friends constantly, but also Skeletor and his bad boy minions. This dude Skeletor is the best villain in cartoon history. F you. He is pure evil for the sake of evil. He is buff, blue, and a Grim Reaper from the neck up. He lives inside a giant snake wrapped around a mountain, it's called Snake Mountain, where he surrounds himself with the most powerful and power-hungry creatures in existence. And all Skeletor wants is to get into Grayskull and take it over. Most of the time Skeletor is seen with Beastman, who is a big orange monkey man that can control monsters and is also incredibly dumb. Not so dumb and with a range of powers unparalleled by anybody else in the show is Evil Lyn, who is just a spiteful, mean old witch that wants to help Skeletor as much as dethrone him. And then it's just on and on from there. The teams of good guys grows and reaches out to distant lands. The bad guys change out and new villains come into play. There's other countries, planets, dimensions, ancient beings, and family drama, but it always comes back to He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And that's it. There's nothing else to say about He-Man except for the interesting stories, character studies, background, and lore that was expanded on in 130 episodes, spin-off series, a live-action movie, 2 reboots, comic books, more reboots, fan theories, and the real-world stories behind the production.
All stuff we're gonna delve into in future episodes!
by the ancients. Now for the real thing.